If it didn't have Will Ferrell in it, it would have been a great movie. Hello and welcome to episode I don't remember of the Watch It Bro podcast. I am Tristan.
And I am Marshall. I wanna say 39, but I
you would be you would be wrong.
don't know. Would I?
Oh yeah.
Is it 41?
No.
Oh.
33 of the Watch It Bro podcast.
Why did I think you said 30? Maybe you said 28 one time.
I did on episode 28. Very good.
Yay!
Fun fact, the Watch It Bro podcast is now in 12 countries.
Ooh, what's the new ones?
Don't remember because I don't know what one I've told you.
Oh.
But
Ah,
we have more than 0.1% in Germany, the
nice.
Ukraine, Russia, South Africa, and Jordan. And our newest
Cool.
two are Australia and Latvia.
Awesome. Welcome, Latvia
And Australia.
and Australia.
And thank you to everyone who's at least wasted part of their life listening to us.
We appreciate it, because we're not good.
That's true.
We're an
But at
acquired
least we're
taste.
self-aware. Today we're going to be talking about the Bill Murray classic, The Man Who Knew Too Little. I think I broke Marshall with that statement.
I like that you call it a classic, and last time you called it a hidden gem.
It's a hidden classic gem. That's right. Today we're going to be talking about the hidden Bill Murray gem, The Man Who Knew Too Little. Better?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. This movie was directed by John Emile, written
Yes, it
by
was.
Robert Farrar and Howard Franklin. It's
It
based
was
on the
indeed.
novel. It's based on the novel Watch That Man, written by Robert Farrar. It is starring Bill Murray,
Uh-huh.
Peter Gallagher, who
Which was
you might remember
awesome.
from, which was awesome, who you might remember from such films as American Beauty or Mr. Deeds. He was also Professor Vinnick in How I Met Your Mother,
That's what I was gonna
Tim
go with.
Ted's bitter rival, and he also had
Ted's bitter rival, it was his teacher.
his bitter rival.
True.
He also had a recurring role in Grey's Anatomy. It's also starring Joanne Whalley, who you might remember from such films as Willow or the fact that she was married to Val Kilmer for 10 minutes.
Yes, so she's another return podcast. I don't wanna say
Yes,
guest, I wanna say topic. No.
character.
Yes. Actor.
Yes.
Welcome
And
back.
rounding out, sure, because she listens so regularly. How funny would that be, though? Anyway, rounding out
Yeah.
our starring cast according to the Wikipedia is Richard Wilson, who you might remember as Mr. Bean's dentist in The Trouble with Mr. Bean.
Okay. It doesn't have Alfred Molina on the cast on Wikipedia?
Spoilers! No, it doesn't. He did not get a starring credit according to Wikipedia.
I I I think you need to look at another site for your cast list. It keeps dropping off major actors.
It's fun this way.
Do we wanna talk about Alfred Molina now?
No, let's talk about him when he gets. Oh yeah, let's talk about Alfred Molina now. And not starring in this movie according to Wikipedia is Alfred Molina, who is also returning from Maverick. He played not the Commodore. He played Angel
Yes, and he was also in other films like Spider-Man 2 and Indiana Jones,
and
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
and I got other. I drew a blank. Pretty sure it was a movie with Steve Martin. Wasn't he in
I
the
don't
Muppet movie?
Steve Martin was?
Alfred Molina.
No, you're thinking the Commodore, James Coburn.
That's right. So yeah, Alfred
You're
Molina
just
was
thinking
also the
Maverick, not
Commodore.
Ryan. No,
No,
Alfred Molina wasn't the Commodore.
now I'm just messing with Marshall.
Oh.
This movie was released November 14th, 1997.
Which seems crazy to me because I thought it was an older movie.
Yeah, actually, I did too.
And not, like, much older, like 92-ish, but still,
Right.
it's those 5 years make a difference.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
Look, it's a little
So
grimace.
it is a little grimace. So this box office flop had a budget of $20 million, but only raked in 100. It only raked in. So this box office flop had a budget of 20 million. It's funny twice, I guess, and only made $13.7 million. So it lost money.
Does it say there was a reason for the flop, or it just didn't do well? Like, did it come out at a bad time? Was it under, um, promoted?
Uh.
Look at us with the facts.
I did not get a single fun fact in this movie.
Really?
Did you? Did you?
A few. There wasn't a lot about
Really?
this movie because it didn't do well.
There wasn't a lot of we had Surf Ninjas didn't do well, and then we found a lot about that.
True.
Well, are you ready to get into this?
As ready as I'm gonna be. Hang on. Was clearing out my throat. Well, hey, Mabel.
For those of you who can't see, Mabel is Marshall's kitty cat.
Yeah, let me go kick her out really quick because it looks like she's gonna be a pain.
She's really nice.
You know, when she wants something.
Yeah, but that's cats.
All right, she's dealt with.
Okay. So, going into The Man Who Knew Too Little, we start off with a fun spy-esque opening sequence with a weird-looking doctor guy turning one of those Russian dolls into a bomb.
Yes, one of those the Russian nesting dolls.
The ones that get sequentially smaller as you take them out. But then we cut to Bill Murray at the airport. I'm going to name him now. His name's Wally, which is pretty much the perfect name for this character. But
Yes.
he's at the airport. He is in England. It's his birthday, which he makes it very known.
Yes,
And
and
he
he's.
is
I was
classic
just gonna.
Bill Murray.
I was gonna say he's giving off very "What About Bob" vibes.
He is, yeah. That's he's classic, Bill Murray. Bill Murray's either this character or he's a jerk, like in Groundhog Day.
Okay.
But yeah, we're setting up the movie. It cuts over to Vinnick, and he's getting ready for it. Vinnick's not his name. His name's Jimmy.
Wally's brother Vinnick.
Vinnick was his name in How I Met Your Mother, but he was Ted's nemesis.
Teacher.
Yeah, teacher nemesis. He was his pit guy.
Yes.
So Jimmy's getting ready. It's cutting back and forth from Wally and Jimmy.
Yeah, he's stopped at not customs, but why are you in?
How long are you planning? Why are you coming to England?
Yeah.
We find out that Jimmy, his brother, sent him money for his birthday, so he's like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna go over to England and surprise him."
Yeah, because that's always a good option,
It's always great to just go over to someone's house unannounced.
especially
Of course,
overseas.
yeah. Well, I mean, in the '90s when we were kids, that's what we did.
True.
So yeah, you get your questions. How long you planning to stay in England? And Wally essentially just starts telling airport guy, how much he's planning on doing, and asking him, "How long do you think I'm going to need for this? How long do you think I'm going to need for that?"
Yeah, he's like, I want
And
to do
eventually,
this, I want to do that, I want to see the queen ride a horse.
and then you see a guy walking by, and he says, "Oh, good night." And Wally and the airport worker both say goodnight to the guy using his first name. So he's been there a while.
Yeah.
And then at that realization, the guy's like, "All right, a week," and stamps his passport.
Fun fact:
That's,
at this time, when he was showing off his passport and then had the other picture.
yeah. Oh my gosh, that was so good.
Yes, the other picture is a picture of his character from Caddyshack, Carl.
So good. Oh, that's funny. We're not
Yeah.
going to do Caddyshack on the podcast.
What?
It's not family friendly at all. It's a horrible movie. But yes, that was a great bit when he's like, "Oh, it's a new passport. I have a better picture though." And the guy's like, "I don't care."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's great that it was a previous character. So I like that.
But we cut back to Jimmy's house, and he's getting ready for. Apparently, he's got a stuffy business dinner coming up. Well, actually, we don't cut back to the house. First, we cut back to this. It's called the Theater of Life. They don't reveal it yet, but it's great.
It's
There's a guy and a girl in a hotel, and they're acting out a scene, and then they ring up the payphone right across the street. For those of you who don't know, a payphone is what we used to have in the 90s because we didn't have cell phones. So there were little booths with telephones in them that you could make calls from, and yes, you could even call too.
That's adorable that you think that anybody that listens to this podcast doesn't know what a payphone is.
I'm doing it for future people who listen to us. Someone might stumble on our podcast in 30 years and be like, these guys are great. I mean, people think Will Ferrell's funny.
He is. Just for that, I'm changing my movie.
Oh, no. But I mean, okay, to be fair, there are different definitions of funny.
True. But yes, let's go back to your payphone thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so Will Ferrell's not funny. I mean, payphone.
Yes, and it's a classic British phone booth. It's the red one that, I mean, not to keep going back to How I Met Your Mother, but Ted Mosby had a model of one and an actual one in his apartment at one point.
Yes, he did. That was a
The
great
actual one
show.
was a penny.
So they wanted to get rid of it. But this is not a How I Met Your Mother podcast.
Not yet.
That would be fun. Anyway, so yeah, we get an introduction into this theater of life. The phone rings and the guy answers it, and I mean, it's not good acting.
No,
Even
it's
the
not.
professionals aren't great.
No, and it had been a while. I'd seen this movie once or twice, 30 plus years ago. Um, um,
Yeah.
and it took me a while to remember parts of the movie. Yeah, I did remember most of it watching it. Um,
Oh, good.
but
So you were surprised.
I was. But during this part, I'm thinking, what's going on? Are they trying to scam him? It. I mean, it was a good reveal once it happened.
Yeah, because you get this guy who's kind of like, well, he's improving.
Right.
I
Well,
guess.
because you see a director at first, like, okay, let's know it's time. He's got the little headset on. She runs back and it's like, go.
Right. And then the guy comes over, he answers the phone, he comes over, and he's like, you, you, you need to not do that because that's not proper.
Right.
And
I'm like, is
the
this
actors are like feeding him lines, and it's great. It is hysterical. This poor guy.
Yeah, I was
Well,
thinking,
bless
like,
him,
is this
he's
a
trying.
sting or are they trying to con him or?
Well, and then the cops come in, and
Yeah.
the guy yeah, I mean, it's a whole planned out scene with the director and everything, and
Yeah.
then we get the reveal from the TV, and it's like, oh, it's like on the news. The news is advertising it for some reason.
Right, because it's the new sensation that's sweeping the nation.
Sweeping England, yeah. See, I
It was
told
a
you it was in
nation.
England. Yeah, I know. I was just specifying which nation.
Fair
So
enough.
there's a knock at the door, or the doorbell rings, and Wally has arrived, and it cuts to him hugging the maid off the ground.
Yes, he has never met his brother's significant other, and he he thinks the maid is, um, and yeah, he sweeps her into a big hug and says, "Oh, you're tiny. I thought you were gonna be a stuck-up British."
A stuffy British woman. And then Jimmy's wife comes in.
Stuffy British woman. She's not that stuffy though.
No, she's really not. She's not. She's actually more pleasant to Wally than his own brother is.
Yeah.
But I mean, she is a little, I guess, a little stuffy because, well, no, I wouldn't say stuffy. She's proper
Yeah. Proper
because
British.
he's like, "Oh, are you Barbara?" And she goes, "I'm Mrs. Ritchie."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Barbara," and she's like, Mrs. Ritchie. Like,
Yeah, she doesn't know him
and
yet.
he has no idea who he's a stranger that has shown up and is embracing their maid
Right.
for
'Cause she's small, so he's got her, like, up off the ground.
up. Yes, and she just seems scared throughout the whole movie, but at this point in particular. And then he doesn't actually ever introduce himself. His brother comes into the room and sees him, and it's like, "Oh, this is my brother."
He's like, "I know this guy," just starts walking into the house.
Yeah, that just yeah, a very very familiar Wally is. And let's see, yes, he's the brother. He's in the movie industry, which is apparently a joke in the family because Wally works at Blockbuster Video.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, in the 90s, we had video rental stores that you went to and rented movies on VHS. And for those of you that don't know, VHS is an analog version of a Blu-ray.
I'm looking at a stack of VHS right now.
You're also 42.
Yeah, thanks.
So apparently it's not a good night for Wally to stay for dinner. Barbara invited him, and then Jimmy realized he has that stuffy dinner with the Germans.
Yeah, he's got a thing with the Germans.
And so she suggests that they send him to the theater of I wanted to say the theater of the mind, but that's something you do when you're a lazy DM in D&D.
Yeah. Uh,
Jeff will know what I'm talking about.
I yes, he will. But yes, they decide that Wally's sensibilities aren't right for the Germans, and that he has to go now.
Pretty much, yeah, that's the gist of it.
He's like, "But it's my birthday."
Yeah, it is his birthday. But yeah, and so Jimmy doesn't really want to, and then his wife points out that it's 3.5 hours long, and he's like, "Well, that sounds great."
Yeah, that's the perfect amount of time for a business dinner with the Germans.
Sure. And then I love the fact that this live theater is the latest craze sweeping England, and somehow they're not booked up. He's able to just like call and get in.
It's so new that it's not popular yet.
So they walk him to the telephone booth, and it rings, and he answers it. And Jimmy points out, "Oh, they're early. Answer it." And we get a very nefarious looking guy giving him directions
Yes, a very different kind
on the
of phone
phone.
call.
Very different kind of phone call. First, the guy answers, Wally answers, and the guy's like, "Spence," and Wally's like, "No, they want a guy named Spence." And he's like, "Oh, that's your name. That's your
Spencer.
character name, Spencer," because he's gonna go by Spencer for quite a while. Then, so he gets his directions, hangs up. Where he's supposed to go is right around the corner. So Jimmy drives him there. Then a
Eh,
really nasty looking guy. What?
Oh, I was gonna say that Jimmy promises to spend his birthday with him. The end of his birthday.
Yes, and they're gonna smoke ambassadors, which are a really,
Yes.
really nice cigar. The best
Yeah.
cigars money can buy,
He's like, "I
which
got
I've
these two
never heard of, so they can't
ambassadors.
be
We're gonna
that
light
good.
them up." Well, I mean, you didn't know what cigars in the '90s were like.
I always thought Cubans were the best.
Not in the '90s.
Or
I don't know. I don't know cigars.
I still don't know cigars, so
But yeah, that's plot relevant.
yes, it is plot relevant. There was something else that was plot relevant that I needed to mention and I forgot about. Anyway, so they take off, and another guy in white gloves who looks like a very hardened criminal comes over to the
Yes.
phone booth, answers it, and he gets the phone call from the Theater of Life and decides to respond to that. So he
Decides
goes
to
over.
respond to it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because it's the lady yelling, "Help! You can see me in the window across the street. I'm being attacked. Save me!"
Yeah, so he goes over to save her, and I guess he doesn't know it's a bit. But at what point do you just not take that guy seriously at all?
I mean, he's a hardened criminal who's, I guess, got a heart of gold. He's like, just she's there feeding him lines like, "Come on, you gonna help me?" Then
And he's just staring at him like, assessing the situation, and then he just shoots the guy.
Yeah, he pulls out a silenced pistol and shoots the guy, the actor, and
And then
leaves.
leaves. It's great.
Uh, she, she's stunned. She's like, what just happened? The director comes in the other room. He's like, come on, get up.
And she's
What happened?
she's mad. She's like, "What are you doing?"
I mean, it's
It's fair. Fair
uh,
response to the situation. You should don't expect some guy to walk in and shoot your actors.
no. It is much. Oh,
He just suddenly he's gone. And then he just turns around and leaves.
yeah. He just walks out.
And she's like, hang on, I have more questions. So they drop off Wally
Yep,
at his
he's
destination. And he gets mugged, weirdly, kind of.
yeah. He's walking down the
Yeah.
alley, and two guys come up on him like, "Give us your money."
And and
To
then
which
he thinks, go ahead.
I was gonna say, he panics briefly and like, "Oh wait, this is part of it."
I didn't know we were starting already.
Yeah,
And so he does three different versions of the scene. and the two muggers have no idea what's going on in this guy's head. And
right.
they're reconsidering even mugging this guy in the first
Oh,
place
oh
anymore.
yeah, you can see it. They're about to walk away at one point when
Yeah.
he's crying about his family and he doesn't want to die. They're like, "We don't want to kill you. Just give us your money."
But then finally he's like, "Oh man, I wrecked all that. I wrecked the whole scene. Just take the wallet." And the guy with the knife is like, turns to his accomplice. It's like, you grab it. I'm not grabbing it. You get it.
It's like, no, he's crazy.
Which is great because that comes up because now he doesn't have an identification.
Right. He's at this point they've taken his in his mind they've taken his ID. He's assumed they've taken his wallet. Now he is Spencer. He's this character in this play of life.
Yes, and he is committing to it. Which and we glossed over earlier the fact of like Wally always wanted to be an actor, and he had gotten the lead in the high school play, and he dedicated all of his time, effort, and energy into memorizing his lines, getting into the part, and as Jimmy said, and I quote, "I've never seen anybody forget so much stuff." Short of a head injury.
Yeah. So that's why they kind of lead into it because he wanted to be an actor. He's in the movie business. I'm doing the air quotes.
Right,
And they
and it's
felt
all
that
improv.
yeah, he doesn't have to know anything. He just has to go with it.
Yep, you have to go with the
Yes,
flow.
and
And he's not even good at that. Hold on, can we start over?
which adds a bit of insanity to his character, his quote
Yes.
unquote character, because then everybody he associates with, it's just like, what are you talking about? Start over.
What's going on here? Where's Ashton Kutcher? For those of you who don't get that reference, Ashton Kutcher hosted a prank show called Punked in the early 2000s. It was not good.
Why?
Uh, seems fun.
Firing shots at Ashton Kutcher.
The show wasn't good. Ashton Kutcher is a national treasure. Yeah, okay.
Anyway, he's at the address.
He is. But then we cut to the Steffi people at the dinner party, and he calls his brother. Wally calls Jimmy, so Jimmy has to answer the phone call, and he tells his brother that he got mugged, and it's going great, and he's about to go do the scene with the girl. Which, how does he know? How does he know that?
I think on the phone it mentioned he's supposed to take care of the girl at the address with the information he got first.
Right. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Fair. Fair. I
And
missed that
Jimmy's
part.
frustrated.
So Jimmy's panicked. Jimmy's wound a little tight.
Yeah, he's nervous about his German lunch or dinner. So yeah, he's
Yeah.
just go do the girl and get it done with. Bye, Wally.
Yep. So he goes in and he meets the girl who is dressed up as a French maid. I don't know if
Yes.
she's French. She's just a maid.
She's dressed up in a maid outfit.
Yeah. And they have a bunch of dialogue. It's hysterical.
They do. Watch the movie.
What? Yeah. What? Because he's in character and he thinks she's in on it, and she's not. He saw how did he end up with the? He found a gun, right? No.
No, she was reaching for the gun in the drawer, and he leaned against the drawer and crushed her hand, and she's like, "Oh, you're going for this, huh? Well, I got it now."
Which,
Which he
as
thinks
an
is a prop
actor,
gun.
right? I mean, even so, though, like if you're supposed to be in character, you're not just like like he breaks character a lot.
Yes, but that's okay. It's part of his character.
I guess 'cause he's only like because I mean throughout this whole thing he's only half taking the acting seriously.
Yes.
So I guess it works. But yeah, she tries to flirt with him so she can shoot him, and then that's when he leans over and crushes her hand in the balcony in the drawer. I would have balcony written down. I am sleepy this morning.
But he's there to take care of the girl and get the letters, the blackmail letters.
Yes, that is his goal. Kill the girl, get the letters. But they use interesting code words. Anyway, he's going by Spence, and her name is Lorelei, but he can call her Lori, so he does.
Yes.
And she points out that Gilbert is coming up. Yeah, he accidentally saves his own life and then goes to meet Gilbert. So he intercepts word intercepts Gilbert when he's looking for the letters.
Yes, and
Lorelai,
Gilbert's the one who's going to be blackmailed with the letters.
ah, they just give him the letters. This whole thing ends.
Yes, but they want to blackmail him.
Sure. Anywho, so while he's talking to Gilbert, Lori's changing and getting ready to run.
Yes.
Oh, Gilbert has no idea who Spencer is and why he's there or what he's doing.
No. And Spencer's just got a gun pointed at him and's got to try and convince him of who he is.
And then he thinks that Wally wants a bribe, and he just goes with it. It's 20, no, 50.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Gilbert's like, well, for 50, I've got to make a phone call. And he goes, get away from that phone, and shoots the phone.
Well, the gun just goes off. It was an accident.
Accidentally shoots the phone.
Yes.
And Gilbert's done at this point.
Yeah. He's done. He's had enough. He's whatever's going on. He's only a part of it. He almost got shot.
Yeah.
He gives him like
And,
he gives him like a 10-pound piece.
yeah, so I thought, yeah, because he doesn't have 50 on him, I guess. But he needed to make the phone call.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lori takes off at this point, or Gilbert runs away. Spencer, Wally's checking out the phone, like, oh, how'd you guys do that?
Yeah. He was like, oh, and he said, "Wow, that was loud," because he didn't expect the
Oh, yeah, it
the
to be
noise to be
loaded.
so loud. He's like, "No, don't run. We can do the scene again. It was just really loud."
Then Lori
But
takes off.
yep.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna mention that that we didn't say that Wally mentioned that he knew about the letters, which is why um Gilbert thought he wanted money. Like, I know about the
Ah,
letters.
yeah,
He's like, I can give you money. Where are the letters? Because he wants the letters.
right. Yes, he does. But then Lori runs and gets attacked by a mysterious man in white gloves after she locks Wally out.
Yeah, so
So
she's in
she's
the little kit. She's in the kitchenette trying to get the letters out of a vent.
right. And then a guy with the gun breaks in, kind of.
Yeah, he punches the glass out of the windows, trying to unlock the door. Um,
She gets
and
herself grabbed.
yeah, it's. I was watching this scene. Watching the scene, he reached in. He it was one of those little flip locks that you'd see on doors, and instead of closing the door, reaching up and trying to unflip it. He brings his gun in to shoot the flip lock.
I thought he was just using his gun to flip the lock because he couldn't reach.
That could be too, but regardless, she knocks it out of his hand with a frying pan.
And then he grabs her.
Yeah, he goes all zombie
And
on her
then,
and just starts busting through the window to grab her and drag her out.
and then she's yelling for Spence, Wally.
which he says, "Pleasure to meet you," because he's Spencer. He's the guy that was.
So that's Spencer.
Yeah, that was the guy that shot the actor and answered the phone after Wally did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so that's the
she's yelling
actual
for
Spencer.
Spencer. She's yelling for Spencer. He's like, "Pleasure to meet you."
That's good.
And Wally's just out front twirling this gun around that's loaded.
Uh,
And then
yeah,
he
he
finally
is.
hears her.
And then he's like, "Okay, I'm coming," and takes his time because he comes back and she's like screaming for help, and he's like, "The door is locked," and she's like, "What? Then bust it in." And he's like, "Okay, hold on." He
And
kind of lacklusterly tries, and he's like, "It's not a breakaway door. This is a real door." I mean, could you imagine hearing that? The door's not
yeah, it's
breakaway.
not
No
bosswood or
kidding.
anything.
So he grabs the mallet out of the umbrella stand.
Yeah, croquet mallet.
Okay, mallet, yeah, and bashes through the door and delivers a line from The Shining.
Yep. Here's Johnny.
Yep. And then he gets in the room.
And
And
in
they have
an effort to keep the mallet, he struggles to pull it out of the door.
and they just wait and watch him. Like, what is this guy doing?
Well, it's bizarre. And Spencer was like, What the heck is this?" Oh, but he sees the gun on the floor and trades the mallet up, which I don't know what happened to the
Yeah.
other gun. If he pocketed it or.
Yeah, he suddenly doesn't have a gun. He set it down. Someone just walk away from it.
Could be.
When you grab the mallet, I think I can only have one weapon at a time.
Maybe. But he's like, "I grabbed this mallet, but look a gun. I'm gonna trade up." Looks at the guy and gives Dirty Harry speech.
That's what it
You,
was. Dirty
you
Harry.
gotta ask yourself
What's
if you
another?
feel lucky.
Do I feel?
Now, if you're just a kid in the 90s, you might not know that's a Dirty Harry speech. It's also the same speech from The Mask.
Yes, it is. It was also quoting Dirty Harry.
Yes.
So Wally saves the day, saves the girl. Woo.
Yeah. He, Spencer, not having a gun and just having a knife to Lori's throat, just kind of assesses the situation and decides to let her go and slink away
Yep. At which point,
because he did
Lori
not
and
feel
Wally.
lucky.
No, he did not. And then Lori and Wally jet take off. That's where that saying comes from.
Yeah.
And we see Gilbert outside making a phone call, going like, "Something's wrong here. Your Spencer's gone rogue."
And he's got the headset of the other phone that got shot in his other hand. He's the man's traumatized. He's got one. He just hasn't let go the whole time. He's like, here, take
and he carries that phone with him for the rest of his life.
it. It's his emotional support phone.
So he's on the phone with what I assume is headquarters, and he's filling the boss in. And then the boss says he's already called the plumbers,
Yes.
but he's gonna call the butcher. And the butcher is Alfred Molina.
Yes, and he's sporting a very
And
fine mustache.
he is. And he is actually a butcher.
He is, but he also likes killing
He
people,
does.
not just animals.
No. But he likes being a butcher. He doesn't get to it now, but yeah. He throws his butchery knife, cleaver, the one.
His butchery.
I got there. Needed to stall for a second. I thought of
Okay,
the word.
butchery knife. I like it.
It worked. But then we cut to the banquet getting set up, where I guess the end game is, and we see the bomb from the beginning of the movie get placed.
Yeah, yeah, the little nesting doll. Did we say the nesting doll was getting made into a bomb, or we just go on a tangent about nesting dolls?
We mentioned that it was getting turned into a bomb.
Sure.
I said I said they're making a bomb out of one of those little Russian
Oh,
dolls.
you did. Yeah, they showed him stuffing it with C4, putting little holes in it in the device, and anyway, there's a timer on it. It's clicked, and it's now it's sitting on the desk of this
Table, not a desk, banquet table.
banquet table. Yes.
And we cut back to the stuffy dinner party at Jimmy's house.
Yes.
And Wally has brought Lori there
Yeah, guess who shows up?
because they need a place to lay low for a while, and he thought it was going to be that would be a good place to go.
Yeah.
And he does not make a very good impression. He insults Lori and sounds like not a very nice guy.
Yeah,
And
she's
she
it says
slaps
this
him
is
and
the
runs out.
governor's mistress or the governor's call girl.
Governor's call girl is what he calls her. And she
Yeah,
slaps
she
him and leaves, and he's like, "Wow, that hurt."
probably should have called her an actress.
Yeah. So he follows her out, and the guests at the party are like, "Whoa, what just happened?"
Yeah, what does your brother do?
And yeah, and Jimmy's wife saves the day and goes, "Oh, he's in the film industry," and they're like, "Oh,
You're
okay,
like, "Oh, okay, we get that." Yeah.
that makes that makes sense of why he would come in here and start saying random things." No, it doesn't.
Hollywood's a weird place.
Making the move, I guess. So it cuts to Wally and Lori, and they're in the car driving to places.
Yes. It's a little car.
And, and they're getting to know each other, kind of,
Kind
because
of.
she's opening up, and he's just embellishing his character.
Yes, he's yes ending his character. He's building on
Yeah.
this.
But they're going back to the house to look for the letters, is what they're doing. And then we see that someone's gotten to the real Spencer because he's dead in a chair.
Yes. And Wally's impressed. He's like, "Wow, that looks great. Look at the dedication there."
Yes, and Lori is not handling it well.
No, she's never seen a dead body before.
And apparently Wally's seen several,
I mean, he works at Blockbuster.
or is that his character?
That I that could be his character. He's like, "I've seen several."
But then he starts testing him, which is great. Throwing stuff at him,
Yeah.
trying to scare him. And at this point, you would think Wally is certifiably insane.
Right. And she's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, you gotta test it, make sure they're really dead. They're committed, right?"
You got to see how dead they really are,
Yeah.
but, so they don't just catch this.
And tosses a bowl at him and just bounces off.
And she decides she's going to go to the loo, and he loves that she called it that.
Yeah.
He's going to go freshen up or take a minute, and Wally breaks character and says that he really needs to find the letters, and he pleads with Spencer to if he can help him find the letters, that would be greatly
Pleads with
appreciated.
Spencer's
And of course, he
body.
does. As far as he knows, Spencer's still alive.
Yeah. Yeah. He's just really good at what he does.
Yeah. And then his cigarette case goes off.
Yeah, he hears a noise like, "How'd you do that?"
Yeah, he hears talking. He goes, "Oh man, you got to do more of that."
Oh.
And then he finds the comm in the cigarette pack, and he treats it like a CB radio.
Yes.
Starts trying to use trucker lingo, which it's funny. It is funny. I'm not gonna lie. It's hysterical. But so yeah, so headquarters is talking to Wally and explaining the situation, and they use really weird code. Have you taken the girl to the bathroom? No, she took herself to the bathroom. Did you flush? So I think she's gonna handle that, and maybe she's a floater. Like what?
Yeah, yeah,
The
they're trying
plumbers are
to
coming, and
the plumbers take care of things.
yeah, and it's all Wally's just along for the ride. But yeah, anyway, he decides he's gonna recycle the girl, which apparently means turn her into worm food.
Yeah. Yep.
She overhears it and she just accepts her fate.
Yeah, she's like, "You're gonna do it after everything, you're actually gonna kill me?" She doesn't say that, but you're gonna recycle me? He's
No,
like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, got to."
So he points his gun at her and shoots and misses
It's
her
like
from 3 feet away.
it's like sticking with the script, right?
And he's just, and the plumbers are there too.
Yeah, they're slowly coming up the.
Yeah. And so, well, he decides to flip sides after he doesn't shoot her, and they take off together.
Yeah, he's
Well, he's switched sides. I guess he wants to be a good
yeah,
guy.
he's like, I wanted to be a good guy. It's like, well, we can do what you want to do.
Yeah. So she leaves. She ties some bed sheets and climbs out the window, and he stays behind to give props to Spencer. And
Yes.
Spencer falls forward, and the letters are conveniently behind his back. So he grabs the letters and leaves. And then they are in the car, and Wally is showing off that he found the letters and rubbing it in Lori's face
Yeah,
because
he's
he is
flying
a
them around like a
child.
little airplane.
And she's like, I don't suppose you're going to give those to me. And this is when he decides that he was going to partner up with her
Yeah.
officially. Before he was just following her, and now he fully decided that he is going to be her partner and he's going to be a good guy. And but she wants the letters, and he wants something from her in return. And there's a bit of a misdirect.
Yes. A little
And
bit of a miscommunication.
yes, and it turns out he wanted to drive,
Yes,
and they're in a Mini Cooper. And
they
so
are.
they're chatting and they're driving, and the butcher's following them. And he is not a good driver.
The
Wally,
butcher
not
and the
the
plumbers.
butcher. Butcher's pretty good. Just he's with the plumber. And then the cops get involved.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Wally, the best driver, and it being on the wrong side of the road and the steering wheel on the wrong side of the car. You can imagine. But
he's
it
very confused.
yes, to the butcher though, who's trying to kill him on the road, he's like, this guy's an amazing driver.
Yeah, and he gets in contact with HQ. Oh no, HQ is talking to the plumber, or the butcher and the plumbers arguing about. Let's see. HQ is talking with, I guess, the Russians. Some Russians, bad Russians. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm trying to think.
With their they're an accomplice with somebody who is trying to stop the peace treaty that's going to
Right.
happen.
Right. That's why the bomb's there at the summit.
Right. Because they want to go into a war because there's money in war, but they're arguing back and forth because they think that they're being betrayed. And then finally it comes to light that there is some American agent that nobody's known about who just kind of infiltrated their whole operation.
Right. Right. They got paid to set off the bomb so that people can make money for the war. Um, and now there's this American guy who's going by Spencer.
Yes. Who
And
has
then the
thrown a big
American gets
monkey
pulled over
wrench
by the
into
cop.
everyone's plan.
Yes.
He gets, yeah, the cops are chasing him. He's having fun with it now. It's like, Spencer would run from the cops, and so he does.
Just insane babble for anybody that's not in Wally's head.
And Lori is
Oh,
just loving it.
yeah.
So Wally's running from the cops
Yeah. Yeah. Lori's
and
loving it.
having a blast with it.
They're
They're
both
both
loving it.
having a blast, and the cops are following, and they're not happy.
No, she thinks this guy's a rogue agent who's betrayed everything and is partnering with her now. He's just having a blast
Yes.
thinking this is all fake. And the cops are like, "What's this going on?"
And then as they're driving, they go down, and then he puts the slip on the butcher, and the plumbers are like, "Are we gonna follow him?" And the butcher's like, "Oh, he's just very, very good." 'Cause he goes up a
Oh,
closed road,
yeah.
and then starts twirling around a roundabout, and then there's a bunch of cones, and he's like, "I've always wanted to do this," and so he just starts running over the cones and launching them in the air, and the cops are behind him, and they go, "I always wanted to do that." But yeah, then they end up in the roundabout, and they're just playing cat and mouse till the cops
Yeah.
decide, oh hey, why don't we just um, stop
Stop.
and block the path, which they do, and Wally almost hits them, but doesn't, and then he waves at them, and they get out and pull him out, and he gets really into character refuses to show ID, but shows him the cigarette thing.
Yeah,
And the
he's like,
cop
"Well,
doesn't take him seriously.
you guys took that in the first scene, so I wouldn't have my ID."
Yeah, but I have this. As he calls HQ and then hands it to the cop, and the cop's like, "Oh, mind if I have a cigarette while I'm waiting?" He's like, "Sure." And then HQ responds and runs the constable up one side and down the other, and then it cuts to them taking a break,
Yeah, yeah,
I guess,
the
waiting while
constable's on
they're
the little
sorting everything out.
yeah, yeah, the constable's on the walkie-talkie to is and is they say, "He's a secret agent, of course he doesn't have ID. What are you doing? Let
Yeah,
him go."
yeah, yeah, and then it goes from there to cut to them. Like Wally and the constable are sitting on the hood of the car. Wally's eating his lunch,
Yeah,
in his sandwich. Lori's in the car with the other cop, going over the workings of the inside of a cop car.
right, and they're waiting to
And then
hear
they're
back
waiting. They're
from HQ about how much it will be for the letters.
right, and they offer 3 million. Wally knocks on the window and says 3 million, and Lori's like,
She's like, "Yes."
so he agrees. They set up a meet in the lobby of the Grand Plaza in 20 minutes. And we go to them, Lori and Wally, at the front of the hotel plaza. And they're talking about what.
It made me laugh so much, and it's not even that funny, but the guy on the street's trying to wave somebody back into a parking spot, and since while he's still driving, he pulls up, backs up in parallel parks just where the other guy was pulling into. And the guy on the street's like, "What are you doing?" And he just waves at him.
I missed that whole part.
Yeah, he's waving somebody back up right into that spot, and it's just in a very Mr. Bean move.
I guess Wally was the better driver.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's great. But yeah, then they talk about Lori and Wally are talking about life and stuff, and she wants to after the mission's over. I guess we never establish who she's working for or why she's even there to begin with.
Well, she was the one doing the blackmailing. She had the letters. They were supposed to get the letters and take care of the girl to get rid of the blackmailer.
Okay, so this is all her fault.
Yes. Sorry, people can't see me nod.
No, not usually. They can't even hear your beans rattling around. So okay, so she wants to go to New York and start a new life over, and it seems like she wants to do that with Wally now.
Yes.
So they have a touching moment. He says it's yeah. He said he'll be back for her. She kisses him. Ooh,
Yeah.
and then he leaves to go into the lobby to meet and give the letters and get the money and leave.
Yes.
So he's in the lobby. It's 10:30. He calls his brother, says, "Hey, I don't think I'm gonna make it. Can you meet me at the hotel so we can smoke those ambassadors on my birthday because it's still his birthday?"
Yep.
And while he's on the phone, some guy comes up, asks him for the time, sticks a pen in his arm, drugs him, and kidnaps him. Richie hears this. He's not thrilled, so the phone hangs up. So he calls the theater back because something seems wrong, and he says some stuff.
He
He
does.
says some stuff, and then hangs up on them very angrily because they want to question him about the shooting of their actor.
Yeah, you just glossed over the whole fact that when he calls the acting place, we cut to the room where the first quote unquote scene's supposed to take place. Cops are there, the actors are there, the director's there. There's an investigation going on because one actor's dead. The cops don't know who's an actor and who's an actual cop.
That was great because he gets off the phone. He goes, "Did you trace that call?" And the girl's like, "I'm an actor," and he goes, "Ah, of course you are." He walks over to someone else and says, "Did you trace that call?" He goes, "Yes, sir. Here's the address."
He doesn't even know the cops around him. Just there's a uniform. You're one of my fellows. But yeah, Wally's brother's trying to get him
But
more
like,
time.
right? Yeah. Are you bribing a police officer? Yes, fine, sure.
I'll bribe whoever I need to. Just take him longer. I've got this thing with the Germans and it's going bad.
Yeah, but I mean, think of it's 10:30, right? It's supposed to be over at 11:30, so it's been 2.5 hours right now. since the guy was killed,
Yes.
and they're still in the hotel room, and they haven't reached out to the guy who booked it.
Yeah, I guess he would have been the first one to call. Because when he called, they're like, "Oh,
And,
it's the guy that booked the reservation." It's not like
yeah,
they were.
what? They weren't trying to call him, and it's not like the story of how the guy got killed is intricate. We made the call. The guy walked over from the phone booth. He blew this guy away, then left. Are you sure that's all that happened? Yeah,
Well, I mean, maybe
yeah,
things
I
take
am.
time.
It's been a couple. It's been. Think about everything that has transpired up to this point. He's calling for more time because his time's almost up. So you're looking at close to 2.5 to 3 hours that we've
Right.
been going on so far. So anyway, nope, Jimmy. Call him Richie. That's his last name. Jimmy Richie.
Yeah, Wally Ritchie,
We,
the Ritchie brothers.
he hangs up on the cop,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then the TV's on in the kitchen, and he sees on the news that someone killed somebody at the
Theater of Life event that he sent his brother on.
you know, and now they're looking for Wally
Yeah.
for questioning, and he comes back in and he goes, "I need to go get some port," and they're like, "We have port. It's right here." And he goes, "Very good. I will go to the basement, and it'll take me a while. I'm also taking the
Yeah.
car keys. Bye."
He was very panicked and awkward. He's like, "I have to go do this." It's like, "This is we got this." "Nope, I good job. Bye." Oh,
Yeah.
I
So Wally's tied up with the plumbers.
I was gonna say we didn't touch on it. We mentioned that he got drugged and taken away, but they stabbed him with the pen and then instantly started strapping his legs to the plumber's legs. So they kind of
Yeah.
they was like, what
They
was
kind
that?
of weakened at Bernie's him.
Yeah, like a four-legged race.
Yeah. Well, clever way to get someone moving.
Yeah, yeah. So it
If
was
you're gonna if you're gonna drug someone and take them, why not strap them to yourself?
exactly weekend at Bernie's
So we
him.
cut to Wally. I don't even know if they did that weekend at Bernie's. Never seen it. So Wally wakes up. He's all tied up in the hotel room with the plumbers, and the girls drag in. We briefly show the time, the countdown ticking on the bomb,
Yes.
and then we cut back to the butchers there as well, and they want to get information out of Wally,
Yes.
and
Oh.
the butcher, what?
We did forget to mention that Wally mentioned to the guys at HQ that the whole thing was going to be done by 11:30, which is when the bomb's supposed to go off. That
Right.
he's got a couple ambassadors to light up, which is what's going to get blown up.
Yeah, no, he inadvertently tells their whole plan scheme back to them, and they are just panicked.
That's why they were going to give him the money for the blackmail photos to just kind of get him to
Yes,
leave them
they
alone, let
had
the plan
accepted.
go through.
Yeah, so they've hired the butcher and the plumbers to figure out exactly what Wally knows, and one of the plumbers is like, "Hey, can we try truth serum before we try torture?" And the butcher's like, "Yeah, that's probably easier."
Yeah, that's a good
So
idea.
they, yeah, so he takes one of the pens out of his pocket and stabs him with the truth serum, and they start asking him questions, and of course he's telling them the truth because he's just a normal guy that works at Blockbuster in Iowa or something like that.
Yes, but to a spy, it sounds like he's been trained how to deal with truth serum, and all he's telling him is lies.
Yeah, so they're not buying it one minute. They're not buying a bit of it. And finally they give up. And so they're like, "Okay, give him the antidote." Okay. Grabs a pen, stabs him in the arm. Nothing happens. He goes, "Oh, sorry, real pen." Which that might have been one of my favorite jokes in the movie.
Such a great joke. And you see him, he's got like 6 pens in his pocket.
He just grabs what it says. And nothing happens, and they all look at each other confused. And he goes, "Oh, oops, that's a real pen."
So he's got a real
It's
pen,
another
he's
one,
got the
and
knockout pen, he's got the truth serum pen, he's got the antidote pen.
And they're all identical,
And I like the little swoosh sound it makes when he stabs them. He goes,
even though it's just a pen. Yeah, I even have it in there. Oops, real pen. But, so then they decide they're gonna get the torturer lady, and Wally is stoked.
yeah,
Wally is excited to meet this torture lady, and they are very confused at his enthusiasm.
yeah, I can take it. Like, I don't think you can.
I don't think you know who you're dealing with right now. But we cut to downstairs to see basically this gives us a passage of time, lets you know the party's kicked off and whatnot, and then it cuts back up to upstairs and they're what game are they playing?
They're playing Kerplunk.
Kerplunk. I could not come up with it. For
It's a
those of you who
great.
don't know,
Go ahead.
Kerplunk is a game where you have a bunch of sticks and marbles in a container, and the goal is to pull all the sticks out out dropping the marbles.
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, yeah. You had a hopper of marbles, sticks holding it up, slowly pull the sticks out.
Whoever gets the most sticks and the least amount of marbles wins.
Exactly. Like, don't do the thing, which is what a lot of games were. Like, don't knock over the
Yeah.
wooden tower, don't wake daddy, things like that.
I was just gonna say, don't wake daddy.
Don't let your little clay grape get squished.
Don't whiz on the electric fence. Nope, that's Ren and Stimpy.
Still good advice.
Always good advice.
Yeah. But do you remember the grape
So,
escape?
well, no.
Okay.
But we have a reference to something that we have not mentioned throughout this entire episode yet. It is the fact that Wally is addicted to nasal spray.
I wouldn't say he's addicted to it.
He's hooked on it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So he's got the sniffles, and he picks one of them, and he sniffles only on their turn.
Yeah. He's like, why don't you do it on his turn?
Because, and you'll see what happens because it gets the other guy to give him his nasal spray so that he can sneeze all over his hand and and execute his master escape.
Do you really think that was a master escape? Or was it just
No,
circumstances that led to it?
it was rolling a one on the part of the plumbers.
Yes, yes. In their mind, it was after the fact, like, man,
I just
he's good. Look at that.
I just figured for once I would go through the chain of events through the mind of the people getting beat.
Very good. I like it.
Thank you. But yeah, so he knocks them both out. The one guy gets slit because the guy loses and drops all the marbles and then knocks all the marbles on the floor. And then he slips and gets knocked out. And the other guy goes to help him, and he's while he's heckling them for not
Yeah, Wally.
giving 100% to their acting.
Yeah, then Wally's like, I'll get my own nose spray, and he stands up and
Turns the chair and knocks the other guy out, and he's like,
yeah,
"Oh, okay, you can't just give up halfway through the scene." Anyway, here's what 100% looks like. And he gets down there and he gets the guy's knife and cuts himself loose, and then cuts Lori loose, and they go out the window. But he says he tries to play it like the stoic loner,
yeah, she's smitten and is trying to get hey, let's run away after this.
and he's like, "Oh, it's all about the money,
Yeah.
pretty much." And
She hustles it out the window
um,
and leaves him.
yeah, she takes off, and he just kind of hangs out.
Well, I mean, he goes out the window too and follows her, but then he gets afraid.
Eventually, eventually, yeah, and then he realizes that there's no safety gear or whatnot. I guess the feds bust into they're not feds. Yeah, they're federal agents, aren't they? That bust into the stuffy dinner party
I
at this
mean,
point. We
they're not
we cut
Americans.
to the dinner. They're still federal agents, or they're Queen's Guard, or who I don't know what they have over there. They're akin to federal agents or the SWAT team.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Anyway, they bust in, they hold up the dinner party, and they ask where Jimmy has gone, and they ask the maid, who doesn't really seem to know what's going on or speak English fully. So she says port, and they're like, which port? And one of the other guys tries to answer, and he goes, and the cop's like, shut up, she's talking.
Yes, yes.
And
I mean,
then
the
she
cops who
says, he
were
left.
I don't know if they were feds, but they were the cops that were investigating the murder of the actor.
Right. Yes, like I said, they might have called in the SWAT team or something akin to that.
Okay. But yes, there's a
But the
confusion at
maid
the house.
says,
The maid sends him to the port.
but non-specific port, so they put a lockdown on every port. When the other guy's trying to say, no, no, he went down to this, he went out to get wine. It's just, yeah, wow. But then Jimmy arrives at the hotel and he parks in a disabled parking spot. I don't know if that's relevant. That doesn't come back. I thought it would.
It doesn't.
Nope. It was just conveniently located.
But he
And
gets out of the
then,
car and looks up.
yeah, and Wally's yelling down at him and he looks up and he goes, oh my gosh, stay there. And so, yeah, Jimmy makes it up to the room, talks to him on the windowsill, which you get great dialogue because he's like,
Yeah.
oh, no, man, this is real. This isn't a thing. This is real life. And he's like, well, the lady went out the window and she walked into this room and I got halfway there and I'm scared. And Jimmy's like, there's a hallway. We can walk. Just come back in. Because before then, the plumbers were there and they were trying to get a shot at him and they couldn't get one from up there. So they go down to the street.
Yeah, they do.
And
They're
they're shooting
standing
up.
in
They're shooting up at him.
they're standing in
Go
the
ahead.
street. They have a newspaper opened up. So one of them's got the newspaper. The other guy's got the gun. And they're shooting through the newspaper up at him. They keep missing him. It's like, "You missed me?
And he's
You
mocking
missed
them.
me." He
Yeah, you missed
looks
me again. Not by much, though.
and he looks up as another bullet hits above him, and then he gets brick dust in his eye.
And where's Jimmy at this point? Did he get kidnapped yet, or is he going around?
I think he's playing. I think he got kidnapped at that point
Okay. Anyway, so Jimmy,
because
Wally is
Jimmy
stumbling around.
Jimmy was going to go around, and he came out in the hall and saw the butcher and um the torture
Plumber?
lady.
No. Fortunately, all right, and they. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but yes. Then Wally stumbles around and accidentally falls into a window.
Yes. Yes. He thinks he's gonna die because he's blind. He can't see, and he falls back into a window. It.
And we glossed over it before because Lori runs through this window first, and it is a elderly couple
Enjoying their vacation.
enjoying their vacation, trying something new,
Yes.
adventuring, role playing,
Yes. Yes. He's dressed kind of like Angus Young.
and
And
she is dressed
how would
in
you?
a way that would later make Wally think that she is the torture lady.
Yes. You good with that?
Yeah, that's good enough. I'm good with that.
Okay.
And then he takes her. Wally takes the old lady.
Yeah. Yeah. He tells her to stop whipping that little boy, which is her husband dressed in a weird outfit,
Just like Angus Young.
dressed like Angus Young, and yeah, he's kidnapping the torture lady
Yes,
because he needs a bargaining chip now.
he does. And it shows them getting on the elevator with there's another couple. And I think he still
To-
thinks he has a fake gun.
yes, yes, he does. Tourists.
Yes, it's tourists. And the butcher is like right behind him.
Yeah,
As a, right?
yeah, because they see him in the hall, and it's like, I'll kill the torture lady," and the lady behind him's like, "I'm the torture lady."
Yeah.
I keep saying torture lady because
And
I
yet
don't
they
remember
don't.
her name.
I don't either. I didn't even write it down. But they they know that he doesn't have the torture lady, and yet they still don't pursue him onto the elevator.
I mean, he's got a gun at somebody, and they're confused because it's bizarre, and he's doing weird things.
Yeah. So the elevator closes, and the tourist couple is very concerned. And Wally goes, "Oh, don't worry, we're just actors." And the lady is like, "No, I'm not an actor. I'm a manicurist. Help me!" Oh man. Oh. And then he starts giving the tourist couple lessons on how to act,
Yeah,
and they get to the floor that he's going to because he mentions talks about torture or whatnot, and the lady passes out. He runs off, and then the tourist couple decides it's a good idea to try their hand at acting
Yes.
to conveniently distract the security guard so that Wally can run into a restricted area
Yes, yes,
unseen.
they help him out.
Yep. And then the butcher follows and gets stopped by security, shows his clearance, gets back there, and it's essentially he's in the dressing room for the big event that's going on, the big show.
Yeah, there's gonna be a big
Because there's a big
presentation at this, Peace Summit.
Yep. And then we cut to Jimmy about to get tortured or getting tortured,
A little bit of both.
a little bit of both. And then we cut to the dance number that Wally is a part of. And they just accept that he doesn't know what he's doing. And they're
Yes,
gonna limp through this performance anyway.
it's comedic because
Fantastic.
they he's got they're dressed as, Russian dancers, with the big,
Yes.
feet with the big hats and everything, and they start doing their dance, and they all huddle up, and they raise up their hands, and they all have these nesting dolls except him,
Right.
and he looks
All
around
part
and
of his plan.
yep, he looks around and sees the one sitting at the table in front of all the ambassadors, and he runs up and grabs it and "I'm gonna borrow this." And everybody laughs because they think it's all part of the performance. They have the goofy dancers not in on it, but so he joins them and works his way through this dance with the bomb nesting
And
doll.
yes, and it goes well.
Yes.
It's received well by everybody except the people who know that that's a bomb he's got.
Right, right. You got the 2 people from HQ who are there now, and they're looking at him like, "He's got the bomb."
Yeah, and the dance is intricate because they're incorporating these dolls into the dance. They're passing them back and forth. I mean, he's doing at one point he's doing some kind of weird like football
They're holding it like a
training
baby.
of like right, and then but then he's also like they're all lined up in a semicircle and he's in the middle and he's just like blindly tossing it around and they're like yeah they're mixing up these dolls and the HQ's looking at it and they go how are we how do we know which one's the real one and the other guy leans in and goes we don't that's the plan only he knows where the bomb is sure
And
that's
we find out through
accurate
the dance yeah. Yeah, we also find out through the dance too that when you twist the doll, it deactivates or it stops the timer.
yeah so he's starting it up and stopping it throughout this whole thing
Yeah, you're
but
watching the timer go on and off and on and off.
yeah, oh, it's great. So, but during all this, we also have some other plot events happening. Lori makes her way in to the hotel and then to the dance thing and makes herself known.
Yes.
HQ gets the money because
Yep.
they realize they've been beaten, and so during the he suddenly like excuses himself from the dance to go heckle HQ, or so they think, because he's like, "You guys don't leave. You stay there. I want to talk to you after the show." And they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, great. Well, We're just gonna go get your money." And they get his money, and
Yeah, they've got 2 cases
they
with
get
3,000,000 in it.
yeah. They say, "Get the money and go get the brother." And so they go. Someone comes in and says, "Do not touch the brother. Cut him loose. We're beaten."
Right.
And we cut back to him dancing with the bomb. And then finally it all ends. And with like 2 seconds left, they're ending the dance. He's got the doll above his head, or he's dancing with the doll, and Alfred Molina, the butcher's got this little itty bitty crossbow
Yeah,
with a dart
he's
in
got
it.
a poison dart. He's gonna get him.
Yeah, and he shoots it and hits the doll because he moves it just in the nick of time. And
Yeah, his movements are
the
so
butcher
erratic,
is
it's hard to predict.
impressed. Yeah, and the butcher's just so impressed that he gives up. Just like I've been beaten.
Basically, yeah, so the the little dart hits the nesting doll and it's and not him. And the butcher's like, I don't know. Jimmy shows up.
Yeah, the dance ends. He wants to keep the doll, so he puts it in one of the bags with with the money in it,
Yeah, so
and
they give him the
closes it up.
money. He's showing the doll. He's like, I'm gonna keep this. and takes out a couple bills
Yeah.
and puts it in the bag with the money.
So then the butcher comes up and talks to him and
Yeah, it puts a gun in
pretends to
his.
in his face
Yeah,
and makes a joke. Like, "Oh no, you're the best. I give up. You will always be the best. I'm gonna go start a butcher shop."
yeah. He's like, I'm actually gonna go start a butcher shop, and he's like, I got this gun because I was the best, and now you were the best. I'm gonna be a butcher, but we will always be brothers.
Yeah, and the guy's like, Wally's like, "Okay, great, I guess." HQ essentially decides that they're gonna steal half the money, and they do.
Right, like we could take half because his back's turned, so they grab the case and leave.
Yeah, yeah, that happens, and then the butcher comes up. HQ steals a helicopter.
Yep.
Then Wally and Lori are outside by a fountain, talking about where they're gonna go from here. And he opens up his case, and the doll is gone. He grabbed the wrong one, and he's really upset that that doll is gone. Which could you just go back in and be like, "Can I have one of those?"
Maybe, but that was the one he was dancing with. It was his doll, and there's the memories attached to it.
Yeah, sure. Sure. And then Lori's like, "Wow, you really don't care about money at all." And he's like, "Oh, it's not real."
It's not real, but that doll was beautiful. It was nice and handmade.
Yeah. And she's just blown away at the sensitivity of this man, I guess.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah. So yeah, she kisses him again. We cut to the helicopter, and they pull the doll out. And what was like, "Is that the bomb?" And he's like, "No, this is the one he's keeping for himself. Of course, it wouldn't be the bomb." And so they turn it, which
Yeah.
reactivates the time, and you get the saddest part of the movie because they blow up, but they never get to know that they were wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the reason too they turn the doll is like the other guy looks over like that thing looks ugly. That looks like his butt on the front. Like that is his butt. You have to twist it.
And he does. And,
They're
and
kissing, and you see the helicopter. Poof. Just
in the background. And then he goes, "Whoa, that was explosive."
just very much like, and they're gone.
There he goes. And then from there, we cut to Wally and Lori. They're on a beach, and there's people still after him. There's a guy bringing in poison drinks. We
So,
get a
fun
very
fact.
funny what? Yes.
So the two guy there's two guys in the bushes watching them and says, "All right, Vankman, go in." And the guy bringing the drinks is named Vankman after his Ghostbusters character, Peter Venkman.
Nice.
Yep.
I did not get that. I am not that familiar with Ghostbusters, but awesome. That is great. But yeah, so he neutralizes the guy trying to kill him, and they think that he's planned all this and he's just brilliant.
Right. He has a sneezing fit. Apparently, he has a thing against Old Spice, or at least it activates his allergies because the butcher always wore it, and this guy shows up. He's like, "Oh, Old Spice," and he sneezes. The drinks go everywhere, and
Yeah,
it's a
another
whole
Old
big
Spice guy.
slapsticky thing.
Yeah, yep. And then they offer him a job as a hitman. Apparently, he
Yeah.
agrees to 5 hits a week. One he's gonna do for free, but it needs to be old people or children.
Yeah.
And
Still on
apparently, he
very
thinks he's been
different
hired
pages
for
from
a show.
everybody around him.
When is the Patty gonna connect? And then because then he's talking about this show he wants to do, and they're just playing along. He has them down in the sand on their hands and knees, like pretending to be cats.
Yeah, I Ah.
And then we roll credits.
Yep. Nothing at the end credits.
Nope. And that was The Man Who Knew Too Little.
Do you wanna give your final thoughts first? Finish maybe?
Oh
Or
no,
do you
you
want
go
me
ahead.
what am I do it since it was your movie? I enjoyed this a lot. I had a lot of fun with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You made a comment at the beginning that made me think that you hated it.
No, I had a lot of fun with it. What was the comment I made?
Oh, you just kind of went at in the very beginning.
Uh, oh, I don't no idea what I did that to, but no, it was the movie I had a lot of fun with. It was funny. It was I know I'd seen it before, but it was unexpected in a lot of ways. It was the happenstance and hilarity of the bumbling through it was really well written, and I you're right. I think this was I guess a hidden gem. It's a shame it didn't do better.
It is.
I will definitely watch it again. I had a lot of fun with it.
Oh, good.
What about you?
I was the exact opposite. No, I'm kidding. I absolutely love this movie. It was everything I remembered it being, and it was everything that I wanted it. I
Good.
loved that it was also. I mean, realistically, you had couple, a couple a couple curse words, maybe less than five for sure. But this is definitely one of the family. It could be family friendly. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It, Bill Murray was hilarious. Everybody carried their weight in the movie. There wasn't a weak link. The story flowed. There was no parts that bogged down. It was what more could you want in a Bill Murray action comedy?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. It was um, very enjoyable, very smart, I think, and it was a good time.
Yeah, I don't think. Sorry to Peter Gallagher. I don't think he really deserved a starring credit, especially over Alfred Molina or the
I
Plumbers
maybe
or
the
the
plot
HQ guys.
again. You're looking at Wikipedia.
Wikipedia is like the source for like perfect information.
Clearly, didn't even didn't even have Alfred Molina.
Yeah, no, it was. Well, I guess it's all. I don't know. I don't know how Wikipedia comes up with it,
It's
but
added by
I
people.
do think that wraps up. Yes, it is. Anyway, I do think that wraps up our final thoughts. So, Marshall,
I think so. Yeah, that was a good choice. Good job.
thank you.
All right.
What is
So
next?
now it's my turn to pick, huh?
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Well, we're gonna go in a different direction. Not much different, but it's a sci-fi movie. It's got some great actors in it, and it's kind of a say it's a parody of Star Trek as well. Um, and it's starring Alan Rickman, Sigourney Weaver, and with top billing, we've got Tim Allen and a very young Justin Long in this movie. Do you have any idea what it is?
Galaxy Quest.
Yes, we are going to be watching Galaxy Quest.
The way you said yes, I want to say that that was a no.
No, no, yes, there's not another sci-fi Star Trek parody with all those actors in it.
You seemed surprised, or
I'm surprised you got it.
changing your
No,
mind. Oh, really?
no, no,
Well,
no.
fun
Yeah,
fact:
yes.
this will be my first time seeing Galaxy Quest.
Really, you've never seen it before?
I've never seen it before.
Fantastic. Well, this should be fun.
It should be.
So yeah, we will be watching that Tim Allen classic, Galaxy Quest.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, we'd like to thank you all who came to join us through this adventure
Sam
through
Rockwell's in
England.
it too.
And Sam Rockwell's in it. That's great.
Sorry, I
We'd
just
like to
remembered
thank
that.
every one of you. Oh, good. Thanks for pointing that out because it wasn't obvious before. We would like to thank you all who came and joined us through this episode as we
Thank
watched
you.
Bill Murray fumble his way through a mission that he never knew he was on. If you'd like to like us, rate us, review us, or subscribe to us, I hear that helps a lot and we would greatly appreciate it. If you'd like to reach out to us, you could do so watchitbropodcast@gmail.com, or we are on X, formerly known as Twitter, at watchitbropod, Facebook and Instagram under that same handle. Our intro and outro music is now provided by my lovely wife, that intro being Blue, that outro being Orlando. And as always, thank you for watching.